everybody? What's up, everybody? It is your main man, Juggernaut of Multi-Platinum Production Team.
Arkatech Beatz.
Arkatech Beatz. Shout out to my partner, Mike Trauma D. We're doing the Music Review Live series. We've been on for approximately about 6 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Doing this thing every evening at about 8 o'clock, give or take. You know, we try to get on time, but, I got young ones. So I'll try to, make sure that I handle my daddy daycare duties and then get on. If it's your first time here, make sure you like, commenting, and subscribing. Make sure that you are hitting those notifications so you can know when we get on live, because we do have the replay stream, and this is the stream that comes on once we are doing the live every night. So if you've submitted your songs, this is when you can come on to get it reviewed live. And, of course, the replays are for you to kind of catch it if you've missed it. If it's your first time here, welcome. I am responsible for co-producing with my partner, Mike Trauma D, for the greatest of the greats. Big Pun, Nas, Prodigy of Mobb Deep, Jadakiss, The Game, Lloyd Banks, Max B, French Montana, Wiz Khalifa, soon coming 2 Chainz, $1 Million Baby 4 coming Max B. Producers heavy on that. Coke Wave 3.5 out. Max B, French Montana out now. Producers on that as well. Can't make this up, right? Shorty Low. Who else? Waka Flocka Flame, Killer Mike, Freddie Gibbs, and so many other folks that we have been able to produce for in our careers. So we are doing the music reviews, and the music reviews are like this, man. Just so people can understand the position in our music reviews. We have a queue right now that's approximately 593 people inside of the queue, or 593 people that have submitted. We've listened to a decent number of these records. We can't get through everything in one night, so I always try to tell folks I'm on for about an hour, give or take, depending on what I got going on. And, I'll try to review as much as I can. If you're trying to get in front of folks, the best way to do that is to skip the line. Of course, we're guaranteed to listen to tonight. The other thing is this, is like what we're doing here is we're just doing critiques, and then we're also trying to look for folks that we want to collab with as well. If you're a producer, make sure you're jumping into our school community, school.com/Future Producer Society. I'm going to throw that on the screen for you to see that. And there we're teaching the music business, man. The things that you want to understand really about how the music business works, this is where we're teaching it, and you're getting it from us, getting it from me rather, who is, like I said, a 25-year vet in this. Not only have we been A&Rs, I've been A&R consultant, I've been a brand ambassador for Song Trust, for Splice, I've been a staff producer for major label. You name it, I've pretty much done it. And like I said, with our resume and our discography in terms of our production, it speaks for itself. So you know that there's no cap here. Like I said, not only do we have music that spans for 20 years, but we also still got music out right now, current right now. Make sure you go search that Wiz Khalifa and Max B if you haven't heard it yet. It's out there somewhere. It'll be out soon, but there's a Twitch stream out there that you might be able to catch. So anyhow, the way this is going to go down tonight is like this. I'm going to try to see if I can listen to some stuff in the queue. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give some constructive feedback on what folks can do in terms of how to get their songs to what I would call commercial viability, right? Now, some people are ready, right? Some people have music that is ready to go. And in those cases, if you have music that's ready to go, then I may suggest some strategies as to how you're going to be able to see how you can get it out there a little bit faster and what you can do in terms to see if you can, grow your audience and things of that nature, right? But for the most part, what am I really listening to? I'm really listening for melodies, of course. I'm listening for song structure, right? And that's going to go across genres, right? So melody, song structure, lyricism, of course, right? So that's going to be in terms of how's your song written, songwriting ability, and, things like pitch, key, mixes, the things that really matter to make music become listenable, right? Or the things that people need to have in order to make your music stand out, right? So that's what we're doing tonight. Kaz, what up, man? I see you. We're just doing what we do in terms of making sure the music is going to stand out. I want to make sure that people are able to create music that'll stand the test of time, man. You know what I mean? That's what we're really here to try to do. We're trying to get folks to learn this thing, and at the same time, we'll give you some music game, some music production game, and we just doing our thing, man. You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody that's jumping into the live. Shout out to everybody that's in my Future Producer Society. Shout out to all those folks that come in every night, you know, listen to the stuff. People that are contributing to the community, folks that are trying to get better, folks that are actively in this business, you know, trying to figure this thing out. And, you know, I'm here to help, man. I'm trying to be your guide and trying to be the guy that can help you to, you know, get better, right, at what you're trying to do. So I'm going to start listening to some joints. I just want to give the live a few minutes to kind of let the algorithm do its thing to make folks know that I'm online for folks who have made submitted. I mean, in the meantime, what I'm going to do here? Let me see. Let me just play some music that's out for right now until we can get the live up, and we'll get ready to get started in about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
New Max B, French Montana, produced by us, Arkatech Beatz.
Poppin', 48 ass. You baby, let's roll. Yeah, I gave him a signature on the C-note. When it come to these speakers, I'm the keynote.
Impact, what up?
Glock 19 tucked in the Pico. I'm a peacock. She like the deep throat mom. Do new tricks, get it all clean. $250,000 on the truck, I'ma get it all green. Don't you fuck with the EMG, niggas all team black. Stevie and more, bigger cross seas, we be on patrol. Money won't fall, sweet and sour on the bagel, honey on the road. Try to show my man a glow, but Dunny on parole. Damn, P.O. a dick, money on patrol. Damn, I been chose, better off road. Don Valley on the building, let us all bowl.
Let's go.
I just hit me a royal flush, better on fold. On the oven, I bake cakes, but better on the stove, yeah.
If you wanna make 1 million, you gotta make 2. Say don't bring sand to the beach, I brought the beach through. When New York fell off, Montana brought the east through. Malibu estates mentioned on the beach at least 2. Don't think of outer space with a bitch you can't breathe. Rabbit 16, but my contract like an athlete. From birds on the block to the jet, CB on the wings. Tell your big homie my watch costs 100 billion streams. When it come to maxing on my name's me too. Cause when he got the cash, I was like me too. And when he got the drop, I was like me too. When he almost got shot, I was like me too. Man, this shit right here, dog, is just the preview. Wave God's on the way, Cosmo Brothers Part 2. Huh?
Yeah, I wish I could hit the lotto. Me too. Smoke a blow while I hit the bottle. Me too. Yeah, I'm feeling to hit the model. Me too. I'm having issues with somebody I need to speak to.
Listen, if you haven't heard this, man, this is on Narcos, Coke Wave 3.5, out now, French Montana, Max B, production by us. Also featuring production by Metro Boomin. Who else on there? Metro Boomin, Harry Freud, Dame Grease. But you know, I join is kind of, I join is the most fire. You know that already. You know what it is. You know I join is the most fire. You know we did that. Why you do that for Max B? You know that we the guys that give Max B the fire, burn down the house music. You know what it is. Shout out to everybody that's jumping into the live, man. Like I said, we about to get into the reviews in just a few minutes, man. You know what I'm saying? But I'm about to jump in just a few minutes, man. I'm just waiting for the algorithm to heat up a little bit, man. In the meantime, man, listen to some Wiz Khalifa and Max B, man.
I used to get the work and now I run off. I do this shit from sundown to sunup.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I wake up, I roll one. Only myself, I don't compete with no one. This ain't the fast ride, I took the slow one. Didn't have a pound today, decided to grow one. Constantly shopping for chrome hearts and Rick Owens. Constantly ducking cops from the pounds that I'm blowing. Got a loft in a couple properties. Playing Monopoly with real money. Another bong rip, I'm a little sluggish. Pardon my cuss subject, but I do what I want and really love it. Tatting my face and smoking in public. Late at night, she hit me for discussion. Asking me good questions. Counting my words and taking every lesson.
18 years, spun off. I've been getting rich, it's over one off. I can drop the bag and get you done off. Damn, nigga.
She wanna be just like me.
Shout out to everybody jumping into the live, man. Shout out to everybody jumping into the live. You know what I'm saying? We about to get into this thing. We about to jump into this first joint that we're gonna listen to. What's this one called? What's this joint called here? The first joint we got. What's the first joint on deck? It's called Energy It's a new beat by Versato. All right, we're gonna take a listen to what it is. See what it sound like. Listen, we got 593 total submissions. Shout out to Versato on this one, man. Outside of it being a little loud on terms of the output, it's a little loud, so it's not really a lot of headroom on it because it's really banging. This record is, to me, is produced pretty well. It has all the elements that I would like to look for in terms of its song structure. It has a decent intro, right? Now, the only thing that I don't have here is that it doesn't start necessarily with the hook instrumentation. There is a certain part of the hook instrumentation that you can hear has the strings in it. I would like that to start first. And then I would like it to have a small intro, go right into the hook, verse, hook. It has a breakdown before the hook. This is good. That has that build up so people can kind of figure it out. So to me, this is a song that's structured pretty good. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't necessarily start off with the hook how I would like it to, but it doesn't have to, right? As long as it's going into the verse and it builds into going back into the hook, then it works. That can work as well. You know what I'm saying? So to me, this is kind of structured the way it needs to be structured. I like the way these drums is hitting. I like the way the rest of these instruments are going together. I think maybe the lead sound in the beginning the main lead, I think, can just come down just a little bit in the mix. But outside of that, I think this joint is banging. Crusade, you still in the building? Yeah, it is distorting. Like, that's why I said it's a little bit high in the mix. That's why I said you need to bring it down a little bit. I think it's distorting. So look, you said you got a question. What's the difference between augmented and diminished? This is dealing with chords and music theory, man. You know what I'm saying? So people talk about augmented chords versus diminished chords, and this is really basically like the way that chords are going to be structured. Because typically, if you look at chords may have, like if you talk about a major chord, it's basically based on 1, 3, 5, and then you have different other chords that are based on different types of fingering. And then when you talk about a diminished or an augmented, it may be either going up a half a step or down a half a step. And that's kind of the difference between really augmented and diminished. I don't really deal with that too tough in terms of music theory. Like, I don't really get into it because I feel like if you're a lot of guys who are producing, real talk, are not really music theory guys. They're not like chord guys, augmented, diminished type chord, music reading type guys. A lot of guys are self-taught by ear. And I think what happens is I like to try to make sure that I'm showing guys how to do stuff through really, we add instrumentation and musicianship on top of samples. And I feel like that is like the fastest way to get us to producing, overall. That's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you want to have a situation where you can produce everything, right? Which is kind of like you want to produce trap, you want to produce this. Like if we're starting off and we're using samples, it's kind of a way to move a little bit faster. But if I'm aiming to be a if you're aiming to be a professional, shouldn't you know the difference? I think music theory does make it. I think music theory does make a difference. I think if you know music theory, I think it can make your music slightly enhanced, slightly. You know what I'm saying? But I don't. Like I said, I don't really practice music theory. But I got the plaque, so you know what I'm saying. To each his own, man. You know what I'm saying. I don't want to tell people that not to do it. I'm just telling you that at the same time, I don't think that it's like. I think that these things are important in terms of trying to get your bag good. Do I know how to play? Yes. Do I understand how to read notes? Yes. But, it's just something that I don't want that to be the barrier for folks not to get into music. Hey, you don't know music theory, you can't produce. You know what I'm saying? So I'll leave that where that is right there. But with this track, Energy. Yeah, I would just think this. I think this mix could be slightly better, man. Like I said, part of it, in my opinion, is distorting. I'm looking at my meters; it's all in the red. We would need a little bit more headroom on this. We have to give the engineer something to work with. You know what I mean? Because if it's too loud, then it kind of doesn't leave a lot of space for vocals when we're putting vocals on top of it. Especially because a lot of times we're dealing with 2 tracks. You know what I mean? So it could come down a little bit more. In terms of how it needs to go. So shout out to my man Vasato that's just sent that in. This joint is called Energy. Shout out to him. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna jump into something else in just a second. Shout out to everybody in the live. Everybody jumping into the live. Called Have You Ever by what's this, Kai I don't know what that is, but we're gonna listen to it.
Hey, how you ever seen your life change? Yeah, left a nigga, I was in the right lane. Hey, demons all in my brain. Can't walk inside my shoes, see out of my frames. You should check it, ain't chest, they watching all the moves. Like paying man at home, but how we calling all the bulls. I'm like middle finger to them boys, breaking all the rules. Like you can't get into the whip unless you got a tool. I'm that nigga just to sum it up. Corbin Blue, shooting at his feet, he double dutch. Like Usain in his prime, they can't run with us. I keep 2 things on my side, don't try to run up from the fives. I got 10 inside my pocket, that shit multiply. I push a Buick like a ghost. Hold the light, kite in the sky, they overlook me, that's the oversight. It's TDP and you almighty, like right, go away. Riding with this dirty, go and stay. I got in the club with this little blick, got the poker face. Nick Cannon, wildin' out, I ain't wearing no roller skates. Oh, you just got caught with that look low, that's still an open case. Shit to the side, paranormal activities. I'm that nigga, baby girl, you can't sit with me. Let the way that chop sound like a symphony. Last nigga tried, knocked him down, now he history. You know, big niggas, little league. Walking with shades on it, still look like I couldn't see it. I throw a 5 in your face like I'm Booker T. Triple X across that nigga head. Take it, you ever seen your life change? Yeah, left a nigga, I was in the right lane. Hey, demons all in my brain. Can't walk inside my shoes, see out of my frames. You should check it, ain't chest, they watching all the moves. Like paying man at home, but how we calling all the bulls. I'm like middle finger to them boys, breaking all the rules. Like you can't get into the whip unless you got a tool.
That's Have You Ever? I mean,
hey, how you ever seen your life change? Yeah, left a nigga, I was in the right lane. Hey, demons all in my brain. Can't walk inside my shoes, see out of my frames. You should check it, ain't chest, they watching all the moves. Like paying man at home, but how we calling all the bulls. I'm like middle finger to them boys, breaking all the rules. Like you can't get into the whip unless you got a tool. I'm that nigga just to sum it up. Corbin Blue, shooting at his feet, he double dutch. Like Usain in his prime, they can't.
man, I feel like it's. I'm trying to find the right words for this. I feel like it's okay, right? I just feel like it doesn't have the hook that it needs to have. You know what I'm saying? In terms of, like, I've always been telling folks, listen, if you're going to do a record, you got to make sure that you are doing your hook that has a repeatable, a hook that feels like people can remember, right? Not like an 8-bar rap hook that no one can remember 2 bars out of the 8 bars of the hook. You know what I'm saying? I think this is kind of like a recipe for disaster. I think always to look for us to make sure that we got a hook that's kind of repeating, right? Either you're repeating 2 bars 4 times, right? Or you're repeating 4 bars twice. Or you're repeating 1 bar 8 times. It still needs to just have some sort of repetition so that it can stick. So that we understand it's the name of the song. So that we know that this is the hook. This is actually, we can differentiate that this is the hook. The rest of it is the verses. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make sure that we have a clear, defined difference, right? And, you know, a song like this is not having that. It just kind of feels like it's all just one long rap. You know what I mean? And I don't really like that.
I keep 2 things on my side. Don't try to run from the fives. I got 10 inside my pocket. That shit multiplied.
Because I feel like in terms of his rap voice and his rap cadence, I feel like he's on message, right? And when I say like on message, I say like I feel like he's on like he's on brand with the rest of the guys that do this style of music. So it's like he sounds like it, he's rapping like it. He's sort of in the pocket where he needs to be. So it's like, you know, those elements are good, right? So we just got to get a good hook.
I push a Buick like a ghost. Hold it like a kite in the sky. Overlook me, that's oversight. It's TDP and you on my like right. Go away. Riding with this dirty.
Ad-lib's a little loud.
Go and stay. I got in the club with that little blick. Got the poker face. Nick Cannon. Wildin' out, I can't wear no roller skates. Oh, you just got caught with that look low. That's still an open case. Shit to the side. Pure no activities. I'm that nigga, baby girl. You can't sit with me. Let the way that chop sound like a symphony. Last nigga tried, knocked him down. Now he history. You know, beat niggas little league. Walking with shades on it, still look like I couldn't see it. I throw.
MLB, those guys is little league. I like that. Listen, man. Again, man, I just think that between the verses and the hook,
5 in your face like I'm Brooks. Triple S across that nigga head. Take it how you ever see your life change. They ain't left a nigga. I was in the right lane. Hey, ain't left a nigga. See your life change. Triple S across that nigga head. Take it how you ever see your life change. They ain't left a nigga.
See, he's saying, have you ever? And he calls the song Have You Ever? And that's the only time he says it is that one time. Have you ever seen your life change? Right? And like, where's the rest? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, can we repeat that? Have you ever seen your life change? Have you ever something? You know? Have you ever you know? Like, if you're gonna say it, say it. If you're gonna do it, do it. If you're gonna repeat it, make it repeat. But instead of just kind of, you know, you say it once and you make it right, I don't know if that's gonna work. So I mean, between the hook not really being really prominent here, I think that's one of my first issues. My secondary issue might be this verse might be a little bit longer than it needs to be before the hook comes back in. On the next level, I feel like the ad-libs is a little bit loud behind his main vocal. But the good thing is I think he has a good vocal cadence. I think he has a good vocal tone. I think for the style that he's doing, I think he's in pocket in terms of hitting his notes along with the auto-tune. You know, so I think all of that stuff is kind of where it needs to be. You know, I think if he just kind of tweaks the hook a little bit, get that mix a little bit better in terms of his vocal performance, I think he might be onto something. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, shout out to him, man. Shout out to Kai, man, for submitting on this, man. Appreciate you on that one. We're doing live music reviews, people. sure you submit into the link on the screen. I'm only gonna be on for a short while longer. If you're trying to get listened to now, it's the time to skip your line if you're trying to do it. Shout out to everybody that's jumping into the live, man. Appreciate y'all. Shout out to everybody jumping into the live. We're going to jump into this next joint by Rain. It's called Former Pothead. I don't know. Former Pothead. I don't know. What y'all think about that, man? You know? Let's listen.
Down, hey, 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 running up them digits cause a motherfucker did it. I've been getting mentions before I could hold a pendant. I've been solo dolo, give a fuck by your opinions. Made it by myself, I give a fuck about the image. Bitch, I'm really clean, no a motherfucker could. Pull up to the sesh with a Q up in the wood. 7 fucking grams, smoking good, you know you should. Quit talking that shit, cause you know your ass a dud. You ain't been on shit since a jit, lil' boy a scrub. I ain't finna trip on no bitch, I know my love. Hard to be a lame with the shit I've really done. Used to kick a dope, now I'm chillin' smoking bud. All up on the solo shit, talking down, get folded quick. Used to feel so lonely, bitch, now I know I'm chosen shit. Ain't got no exposure yet, leave you on a poster dead. I don't give a fuck about no hoe, cause I'm on top of it. You know that I'll go kick in your dough if you got a brick. Slide me 813, lil' bitch, I want all of it.
Drum in the beat, man, you know what I'm saying? That's the one thing. On the next level, man, I feel like this mix is like, you know, it's a little bit overloaded. I don't really know if I like the way his lyrics, not his lyrics, where his vocal is at. His vocals to me feel like it's over it's oversaturated in terms of like effects and where it is in terms of the mix. I think this is kind of bad. You need a hook on here, brother. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you need a hook to make it go.
Down, hey, 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 running up them digits cause a motherfucker did it. I've been getting mentions before I could hold a pendant. I've been solo dolo, give a fuck about your opinions. Made it by myself, I give a fuck about the image. Bitch, I'm really clean, no a motherfucker could. Pull up to the sesh with a Q up in the wood. 7 fucking grams.
Yeah, I think like the vocal, like I know there's effects on it, but it sounds like it's overloading as well. I feel like everything is overloading on it. But I do feel like there's a vibe here with it. I think if we can get it, if we can get the mix of the music a little bit better, if we can get the drum to do a little bit, if we get a drum in there somewhere, even if it's a low 808 drum kick, a little 808 kick, if we can get that in there, along with getting him with a good hook, right? I feel like if we get him with a good hook, along with a good hook, man, I think we might maybe have something that's like at least a vibe. You know what I mean? I'm not, a vibe. I like this. It's kind of like got like a vibe to it. So, that's just my 2 cents on this here. I think that we could do that.
Smoking good, you know you
and it fix up these vocals, man, in terms of like the mix.
Good. Quit talking that shit, cause you know your West a dud.
And that overloading, it's like totally in the red.
You ain't been on shit since a jit, little boy a scrub. I ain't finna trip on no bitch, I know my love. Hard to be a lame with the shit I've really done. Used to kick a dope, now I'm chillin' smoking bud. All up on the solo shit, talking down, get folded quick. Used to feel so lonely, bitch, now I know I'm chosen, shit. Ain't got no
Lyrics ain't half bad.
Yeah, leave you on a poster dead. I don't give a fuck about no hoe, cause I'm on top of it. You know that I'll go kicking your dough if you got a brick. Slide me 813, little bitch, I want all of it.
And I guess some people would say, hey man, he just put the effects on it to make it sound like that. And I mean, yeah, but I think it's kind of a distraction. I think it needs to be a little bit more clear, So that's my 2 cents on it, man. Shout out to everybody that's jumping into the live. Shout out to everybody that's jumping in. We're gonna jump into, a few more joints before we get up out of here. Shout out to everybody on Instagram and Twitch and every place else. We're gonna jump into this next joint real quick. Don, what up? This joint is called Wrong by Soham. Let's see what it sounds like.
Uy, dime que lo que si lo vamos a hacer. Solo estoy pa' ti, sabes bien qué hacer. Uy, vamos pa' donde muelo.
Yeah, here's all running. Yeah, way too many. Why come in it? All hundreds, this on 20s. Y'all sipping margarita, we sipping on so Henny. No, I can feel it. Yeah, you ain't ready. Yeah, paid you up. You fell for the hills. Yeah, go sit back there. Yeah, you want him on Sally. Yeah, what? I'ma keep possession of the game, no, I'm not checking up. Yeah, this shit takes a lot of skill, but I don't really wanna go test my luck. Do what I want, never give a fuck. I've been making hella hits every day for a month. If it's beat, then what you done? Had a fist down on schedule, no, I'm not regular. I'm different, I'm God. If I'm naked, then I'm bringing the guys. I was chillin' till you flooded the high. I was chillin' while you messing my life. Only man hit like a missile. Dressing up. Designer don't make you presidential. Calling in. Picking the stuff from the spot, presidential. Loving it. I love everything that I'm doing. I just really need it. Bitch, I'm running. Let's go. Way too many. What come in it? Honest. This on 20s. Y'all sipping margarita.
He got too much going on in this. Shout out to Chubb Mercury, man. I appreciate you. Richie Stone Cold, what up, brother? Listen, this has got too much going on, man. Like you gotta choose what you want to do here. Like you literally got music that's like it's going everywhere. Like, you know what I mean?
Uy, dime que lo que si lo vamos a hacer. Solo estoy pa' ti, sabes bien qué hacer. Uy, vamos pa' donde muelo.
So I'm thinking that he gonna ride with this part, which is like the he gonna ride with this, which got the little Spanish mommy in there. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking he gonna ride this way.
Yeah, here's all running. Yeah, way too many. Why come in it? All hundreds, this on 20s. Y'all sipping margarita, we sipping on.
And he got his main vocal, and then what's running in my ear is the ad lib, and the ad lib is bouncing between the left and the right. I don't know if they playing a pan game or whatever.
So no, I can feel, yeah, you ain't ready, yeah, fake you up, you feel for the hits, yeah, go sit back there, yeah.
And like this whole part right here is inaudible, like in terms of his music, like his lyrics, like they're inaudible. We can't. Can you guys decipher the lyrics on these parts?
You want him, I say,
You know, because I don't really smoke, so I don't know. I don't know if I gotta, you know what I'm saying, if I gotta be, what you call it, to get this.
I'ma keep possession of the game, no, I'm not checking out. Yeah, this shit takes a lot of skill, but I don't really wanna go test my luck. Do what I want, never give a fuck. I've been making hella hits every day for a month. If it's beat, then what you done? Had a bitch down on my schedule, no, I'm not regular. I'm different, I'm God. If I'm naked, then I'm bringing the garage.
Like that part is fine.
I was chillin' till you flooded the high. I was chillin' while you messing my life. Only man hit like a missile. Dressing up, designer don't make you presidential. Coloring in, picking the stuff from the spot presidential. Loving it, I love everything that I'm doing. I just really need the millions I'm running. Let's go, way too many. What coming in? Is this on 20s? Y'all sipping margarita, we sipping on so Henny. No, I can feel, yeah, you ain't ready. Yeah, fake you up, you feel for the hits. Yeah, go sit back there. Yeah, you want him, I say, yeah, I'ma keep.
Like this part would have probably served better as the hook, as the song is going out. Yeah, right now, I think you have like I think like, you know, like there are some cases where a guy might pick the right beat, right? And then may have the right elements, like he got that vocal sample, which is the right element, right? And then he may have the way that he wants to rap on it or sing on it is the right way. But when you put it all together, it just doesn't go, right? So it's like, because it can go in different directions, like, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like you have to choose a way that's cohesive. And I think a lot of times what happens is that we might get into a thing where we like to just throw different things in the pot, like it's a gumbo. We're just throwing, you know, we're throwing ideas. We get in a little groove and we're just throwing ideas on the track. And you might be like, yo, this is all in the right key, right? Right? It's all in the right tempo. But it doesn't mean that it goes. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean that it goes. Like technically it could be in the right key and it can be the right tempo, but it just may not audibly mix well. You know what I'm saying? Just because you can put, you know, 2-3 seasonings in the pot, it don't mean that it needs that. You know what I'm saying? Like we could be overpowering the recipe. We could be making the food, you know, a little bit more tangy than it needs to be. Pause. You know what I'm saying? So like this is like feels like one of those things where it's kind of like I feel like there's potential here, but I also feel like, you know, bro, like, you know, you might have done more than you needed to do. If we'd have ran with the Spanish Mommy in the joint, maybe put a little bit extra on top, pause, and then make sure that when we did the first part of the hook that it was audible. I think that's the main thing. It's like just making sure that the music is audible, man. Like, can we understand these damn lyrics without being high? Can we understand these lyrics without being drunk? You know what I'm saying? Like, can we understand this shit? Like, that's the main thing for me. And I need these guys to understand, man, this music is on its way out. All that inaudible mumble is out. You guys don't got Drake no more to co-sign the shit. It's gone. You gotta rap now. I'm sorry. You gotta rap. Ever since the battle, you didn't catch that? Look. Ever since the battle with Kendrick, Drake, Cole, and all that guys, you gotta rap. All those guys that can't rap, if you notice, they can't. There's no big records if you can't rap. Y'all don't catch it. Y'all don't see it. If you can't rap, that's why you can't. That's why it's not breaking no more charts. The people are not embracing that anymore. It's a dub. It's over. You know what I'm saying? So y'all had a good run. You gotta rap, man. And, you know what I'm saying? And even if you're not a great rapper, all right, let's get to your melodies. Okay, let's make sure you're audible. That's all. You ain't got to be the greatest rapper, but you definitely need to make sure that you have good melodies and decent lyrics that people can hear. We need to be able to hear it. All that, mumbling your way through the song with some auto tune. Them days is over, man. It's a wash. I ain't gonna hold you though. It was a long stretch. It's a long stretch. It was a long stretch we had to deal with that, man. I don't think I've ever seen that I've never seen that last so long. But again, man, that stimulus package was powerful. I try to tell folks, man, like, yo, that stimulus package was powerful. A lot of the guys who thought they was hot was getting the benefit of that stimulus package. And without that stimulus package, these guys ain't really got no real emotion. I'm just keeping it 100. They ain't got no real emotion. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, man. Shout out to everybody that's jumping into the live, man. It's a Saturday night. I'm trying to figure out, man, these Saturday nights, man. Sometimes these Saturday nights, when I jump on, I'll be like, I'll be trying to figure out if it's the right play. Sometimes, if we may need to leave at least one night out of the mix. I'm trying to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Because it be feeling like, especially because we got daylight saving time and we get into the warmer weather. When it's wintertime, people don't really care too much. But when it getting warmer, ain't nobody want to be home nobody don't want to be home on no joints. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm thinking about that too. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to figure it out. Just trying to make it make sense. I'm trying to find the right cadence for all of this. Because there's more things that are coming. I'm just trying to find the right cadence for it all. And once I find the right cadence for it all, we're out of here. You know what I'm saying? I just have to find the right cadence. Because we still have some lives that we're going to have to do within the portal that occurred during the week. And then I have to make sure that those things are happening. And then some other things that are happening, and then having some other schedules, some other stuff. So I just want to make sure that we're on the right pace, making sure that people are getting what they need. I think that's really the most important thing. I want folks to get what they need. I'm liking what I'm seeing in terms of the guys sharing in the portal. If you're not part of the Future Producer Society, make sure you're part of that. You jump into that. We'll put the link on the link on the screen. Just make sure you're jumping into that. But yeah, I see guys getting in, and I see guys asking questions, and I see guys leaving, different thought processes, and and just sharing, and I think it's a good thing. Once you go in to put in your put in your song, Chub Mercury, you just pick if you want to have it be regular standard, or if you want to skip the line. Yeah, I'm trying to get this thing, like I want the community to really have a diverse set of people. That's probably the first thing. And then the second thing also, have a really, tight knit and really sharing what's happening, sharing what's winning, sharing what's not winning, sharing what's working versus what's not working. And then again, for me, I'm gonna give you all of my my stuff that I'm doing, and making sure that you kind of get all of those case studies, And there's a lot of case studies, and I'm just trying to make sure that I'm providing the information at the level that people are at. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to deliver, these case studies, for, that, people haven't experienced yet. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be talking about, in-depth royalty accounting and auditing and all of that stuff, and people are not having to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to create a bunch of things that aren't relevant to where people are. You know what I'm saying? And I'm kind of talking too much jargon that's over people's level. You know what I mean? I want to make sure that I'm giving them the building blocks to get to that level. You know what I'm saying? But not talking, about things that just don't really that are important. Don't get me wrong; they're important things, but just at this level, is it important for where people are now? When people start to ascend, then and they may have those questions like, "Yo, Chuck, I got this opportunity. This opportunity came through. Like, how do I handle it?" This is when the case studies make the most sense. Hold on one second. I gotta get this where I need to get it. Yeah. So, making sure folks is learning, that's my major priority is making sure people are learning. That's what I want. I want people to learn from what we're doing. If we can do that, then I think for me that's a win. You know what I'm saying? Try the desktop version, Chubb. I'm not sure what's going on with the. Lately, it's been a little buggy. I don't know, like over the last week or so, it's been buggy. So try the desktop version, see if that works. I guess Richie, since you guys have been in it now for a few weeks, what else would you like to see? It's like Kaz, Richie, like Don Don. I don't know if you're in it. Are you in it as well, Don Don? What would you like to see in terms of that group, and what would you like to see more of? I want to just make sure that we're delivering what we gotta deliver. You know what I'm saying? It's trying to finish off these kits. Trying to finish off these kits, and then also trying to finish off the some of these other tutorials. And the thing, part of my problem is some of the stuff that I have is, of course, is going to be in the MPC XSE, right? But we're on the MPC XL. Come on, bro, you got to jump in if you're producing. I want to make sure that the stuff that I'm doing is, geared toward the MPC, but I also have to remember that, people are upgrading. People are not really on the X anymore. You know what I'm saying? People are on the XL and they're doing what they think on that. And then the spot that I want to get my XL from, these folks are backlog. You know what I'm saying? People that I got, they said they don't have any yet, or they don't have any more. So I got to see how long it's going to take for them to get their inventory back, or I'm going to have to go to another vendor. All right. So, you know what I'm saying? As long as that's. Yeah, I believe that. You know what I'm saying? I just think it's more of an optics thing, Richie. Not even so much a systems thing. You know what I mean? More of an optics thing. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people will look at those optics and they'll be like, "Oh, it's not up to date," type shit. You know what I mean? Like that. It's like, you know what I mean? Like that's really the issue. You know what I'm saying? It's the way that it looks versus the way that it actually is, because the systems are both the same. It's just, Yeah, listen, I'm trying to tell you, man. It's different from that machine, man. I'm telling you. For a lot of us who stayed with Native Instruments, I think we stayed longer than we should have. You know what I'm saying? We stayed there longer than we should have. We shouldn't have stayed there as long as we did. You know what I'm saying? Like no shade to them, but I had gotten out early. I had the first iteration of the machine, and I considered buying a studio, and then I decided not to, and I just stayed with FL Studio. But Mike stayed on it, and I feel like him staying on it kind of like, I feel like it kind of, when he finally got back into the MPC, I feel like it had stagnated him. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like he couldn't, it took him a while to get off the computer. Like get off the computer, like you got to get off the computer so you can just make the music. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's two different beasts, man. From the machine to that, it's two different things. Yeah, we be trying to, you know what I'm saying, and then I think Sean gonna go back in a little while. You know what I'm saying? He been listening to some music lately. I think he gonna get back in a minute. You know what I'm saying? He just got a few more A few more projects that he got going on. But I think he's going to get back in a little while. Anybody tried out that new Suno update? Where you put in your vocals? That shit crazy, man. You put in your vocals, now you become the singer? That shit crazy, man. That shit crazy. Crazy. He said, "Nah, man. You listen, yo, Richie. I meant to tell you about that too, man. Listen. Don't jump into what these cats is talking about on that, man. Those cats, people be talking about they're gonna own this and they're gonna own that and they own this and they own that. All that stuff is not relevant, man. A lot of that stuff be clickbait, bro. You know what I'm saying? A lot of that stuff be clickbait for folks to jump into their YouTube so that they can, get their YouTube talking about and so forth and so on. Like a lot of that stuff, like if you think about it, right? Like if you wanna blow up on any social media platform, let me just keep it 100 with you. If you want to blow up on any social media platform in 2026, you just have to make your content scary and negative. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to make your content scary and negative, right? So, for example, if you find all of the negative press on Suno right now, then you're gonna have everything that you drop as it relates to Suno is gonna get algorithmic traction, right? The only thing that we need to be concerned about with Suno was this. One, you need to make sure that you put enough human input into it so that you can copyright it. That's the main thing. You know what I'm saying? When people talk about ownership and all of this type of stuff, it's like once you outside of you copywriting, how else do you display ownership? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how else do you display ownership? How can you say you own something if you don't copyright it? Once you're able to copyright it, I don't understand what these people are talking about. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of this stuff be like click and rage bait, and if you go read the terms of service yourself, and these guys are betting that you won't read the terms of service yourself. That's what they're betting on. They're betting on that you won't read it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, they're betting on that you won't read it. So the main thing here is when you're using this AI stuff, man, like, and that's what I'm telling folks. I'm telling folks, listen, I don't think that you should be using Suno in a way where you just take the entire output from Suno. Right? You know what I mean? Like, and you don't make any changes. I don't think that you should do that. You know what I'm saying? I think that you should use that tool like how we sample is how you should be using Suno. I don't think you should be using Suno like just, you put in your prompt and then you say, oh, it's mine. Like, that shit don't even make sense to me. You know what I'm saying? It's all good, brother. Right? So at the end of the day, like, this is the thing, like, so I don't think that folks should really use Suno in that fashion. You know what I'm saying? Suno should be used in a fashion to help you to really brainstorm ideas. You know what I'm saying? To brainstorm ideas, I think we should be using it to gain clarity as to how we can get a song better, technically, right? Because sometimes you might have a joint and you might do it and you might be like, I sound good. And then you try to do an iteration in Suno and you be like, oh, wait a second, I could have mixed this better. Or, oh, man, the drums could have went like this. You know what I'm saying? So this is like a musical idea hotbed that you should be using. You know what I'm saying? Use it for ideas. And then for us who are sample-based guys, if we don't want to use if we don't want to use the royalty-free stuff like Splice, Tracklib, or Cymatics, you know what I'm saying? They're going through Nero. If everybody's going through Tracklib, like, you know what I mean? Like, you can try it, but at the end of the day, I'm not sure, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if we should try anything else. You know what I mean? So honestly, I that's where I'm at with it. You know, I don't want people to like I don't want people to kind of get caught up in this thing. Like, you know, yeah, we can't use Suno and all this stuff. The way Suno got it going right now is a good situation. Now, what I would hope happens in the future is like this. What I would hope is, say for example, we put a song into Suno and we're training the AI. What I would hope for is that they use some sort of blockchain technology, and what they can do is they can create what I would call song fractions, right? If you guys are into crypto, you understand what I mean when I say fractional, you know, fractional ownership of something. And you can say, okay, this guy's song has a fractional derivative from that guy's song, and he may own, you know, 0.1%. You know what I'm saying? Because we used something that he used and whatever. And once you can kind of get to that, then I mean, I think that's cool, because at the end of the day, people are going to get credit for what they did. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we get to that point, then I think we're working with something. But I don't think we should be running from it in terms of, like, you know, copyright and all of that stuff. You know, the Copyright Office has made it very clear. If it doesn't have human input, you can't copyright it. And you gotta put human input in this thing, man. And people gotta stop being lazy. Listen, the mixing and the mastering for the AI, I think is pretty good, man. It's a lot better than a lot of the music that I've been hearing. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of music that I've been hearing, it ain't really been mixed and mastered that well. So you'd be surprised, you know what I mean? But in any event, I'm about to jump off out of here. Chubby Mercury, man, like, you know, just submit your joint, man. If it's on the free tier, submit it, and, you know, we may get to it in a month or 3. I'm sorry, you know what I'm saying? We might get to it in a month or 3, you know what I mean? But, you know what I'm saying? So, we'll see where it goes, man, you know what I'm saying? But shout out to everybody that's jumping into the live. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to get out of here, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all be safe. Until next time. Have I heard of Lander? Yeah, I've heard of Lander. Remember, me and Mike were brand ambassadors for Lander's competitor. It was called Cloud Bounce before they got absorbed by FL Studio. So me and Mike were there. Me and Mike were the ambassadors for Cloud Bounce AI mixing and mastering for about damn near 10 years. You know what I'm saying? So, and you know, those guys were a mixing and mastering online program that we used for CD Baby, and then after a while, it had gotten picked up by Image Line, and then they got absorbed into that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm familiar with Lander and all those other things, because those were the direct competitors before they got absorbed. You know what I mean? Listen, man, we be early in the game, man. We be early trying to figure out this stuff early, trying to figure out what's what and who's who, and you know, trying to figure out which companies to jump on and which companies to really kind of partner with. It's just something that, you know, I want to make sure people are understanding and learning. But you know, we'll holler at you, man. Be safe. We'll catch you on the next one.